KADYTV.com. We are live, and this is our inaugural maiden voyage, and we want to thank you for joining us. We'll hope you make an appointment to join us every Monday through Friday from 4 to 5 o'clock every afternoon as we broadcast live from our beautiful studios in the Ventura Executive Suites in downtown Ventura. We are about the county, by the county, for the county. We are about as much good news as is possible. Obviously, if something is tragic and it affects the folks that we know in our community, we're certainly going to discuss it or share it with you, but it's not going to be the priority. We're looking to give inspiration. We're looking for angels. We're looking for good luck stories. We're looking for people who have overcome adversity, for hometown heroes. We're looking also to promote as many events as possible. I mean, it's been crazy in the county lately, so we can't possibly get behind every event. But please, on our website, there's a portion there that says contact us, or I'm Maria at KADYTV.com. Let us know, and we'll see what we can do to help, because we want to help as much as possible. So with that in mind, we had a little bit of Broadway in our backyard on Friday over the weekend. It was the opening night of Happy Days, which is a musical that the Cabrillo Music Theater brought to the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza. It's still ongoing. So if you remember the television show, which this is ironic that I have a internet television show because I've never watched television. I watch it for sporting events, mostly football, and the Academy Awards, and that's about the sum total of my television viewing, so whatever. So I never did see Happy Days, but I did know of the Fonz and all that sort of stuff because I read about entertainment. So we had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing Gary Marshall, Paul Williams, Scott Baio, and Cindy Silvers, who were all part of Happy Days. Paul Williams is a famous conductor, and he's about this tall on me, and so when we were speaking, I would do this to him because I can't help myself because he was just precious. And he's 70 years old, and you won't believe it when you see him. He's got a full head of hair, and he's in perfectly great shape, and he was just delightful. So we're going to share with you what that was all about on Friday, and thank you so much for watching the Maria Sanchez Show on KADYTV.com. Hi, Maria Sanchez with KADYTV.com. We're broadcasting from the Civic Arts Plaza. We're here because the Happy Days musical that is put on by Cabrillo Music Theater is debuting this evening, and members of the Happy Days television cast are expected to be here, including the series creator and writer Gary Marshall. But we wanted you to see they set up a whole soda shop. These are literally cakes, so that's like a jukebox, obviously, soda, and maybe I'll just lift it up a little bit so you can see. Isn't that something? And then this is an LP, and it says Happy Days, a new musical. And the cakes are provided by Conejo Valley Bakery, and they have jukebox that apparently those are live, and they're going to be working. And then they have a buffet, so we're going to just take you around a little bit and let you see who's here and what's up, and we'll have more fun coming in just a little. Maria Sanchez continuing our coverage of the Happy Days VIP pre-party prior to the debut this evening. And we have with us Dennis Gillette, or Denny Gillette as he's also known. Denny is the mayor of the city of Thousand Oaks, in which this event is occurring, as well as running for re-election. And Denny, why is it that you felt this was important to attend?
Well, anything that Cabrillo does. Cabrillo has been just phenomenal in what the entertainment venues that it's brought to the city of Thousand Oaks. This is just one more in a long stream of successful productions. It's entertaining, it's a wonderful outing for our community, and it's right here in our own city.
So, it's Broadway in our backyard, as Carol likes to say.
Yes, very good. Well, Carol's good at that, Broadway in our backyard. But it reinforces the vision that the fathers had 20 plus years ago when this was only a concept. And now we have this on a regular basis, and we have companies like Cabrillo that work so hard all year to bring us this type of entertainment, and just kind of a nice part of the city.
And what would you like to share with our viewers about the city of Thousand Oaks?
Well, that the city of Thousand Oaks is still one of the best, greatest places in the entire country to live. We're fiscally sound. We're well managed. We have a tremendous community. Our residents are superb. It's a high quality of life and a great place to be, and a great place to bring a company, great place to work, and a great place to shop.
And just to give folks some of the background, what was your career prior? I know you've been
well, you can go into that with City Council, but we'll talk about your
Well, my
service
my,
to our
my, my,
community.
my personal career, just after I got out of the Marine Corps, I came to Thousand Oaks as one of the original deputy sheriffs in the inaugural police department when the city incorporated in 1964. I served 27 years with Ventura County Sheriff's Department, and then was fortunate enough to go to Cal Lutheran as Administrative Vice President and Corporate Treasurer for 12 and a half years. So I've had an extensive run right here in the community. My wife was a classroom teacher, English teacher with Canal Valley Unified for 35 years, and we raised two fantastic daughters in this community. So myself and my family are part of the fabric of this community. We were here at the very beginning and thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been wonderful for us.
And as I mentioned before, you're running for re-election for City Council. This is going to be your
This will be, if successful, this will be my fourth term.
And anything you want to say about that in the campaign?
Well, I don't want to overly politicize this thing, but I hope those folks that have not yet voted would consider that the quality of life here, and a lot of it comes with experience. And I have thoroughly enjoyed serving the residents of this community and look forward to 4 more years.
Perfect. And congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Denny Gillette, Mayor of Thousand Oaks, under which the auspices of the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza is part of this event.
More happy.
Maria Sanchez continuing our coverage and our broadcast at the Cabrillo Music Theater's VIP pre-performance party with Happy Days. And we have Mark Halpern with us. Mark, welcome to KADYTV.com and also to Thousand Oaks. I don't know about where you live or...
We live up near Pasadena.
Okay, so you're a Southern California guy.
Yeah.
And why are you here?
My wife's covering it for her site, and I'm covering it because I saw the pilot episode of this back in 1971 when it was done on Love American style. And look how far it came since then.
And what capacity were you in the business in those years?
Well, in past years, I was at Miramax and Fine Line, part of New Line Cinema. And I was at Embassy and Universal. And
So mostly feature films?
mostly feature films.
And your career has been writing or producing or?
I've been known as a distributor. I've distributed over 250 movies.
Okay, that's a lot. And you have hair. You haven't pulled it all out.
No. I keep the hair.
Can you brag a little? Do you mind about the Academy Award films?
Well, let's see. I was involved with Shine
Oh, my.
and Grifters, and I did Fanny and Alexander, which was Ingmar Bergman's last film. So I
Wow.
distributed that. And I don't know, there were 48 movies that I was involved in that were nominated. 13 of them won their category.
Really? That's quite the feather in the cap.
Yeah, it was fun working on pictures at work.
Yeah.
Pictures that people really remember.
And resonate.
Yeah.
Now, what do you have to say about the business today?
It's going through a transition, but it goes through a transition all the time. It's all cyclical. Now we're just trying to find where the new wave is going to be. Is it going to be digital download, which I think is a really good possibility, but it's going to take a little time for that, because it's only within the last year or so that enough people have broadband connections. And that is a cable connection or a fiber optic connection, because DSL isn't fast enough. And once you get enough people on satellite and broadband, then you can deliver to an audience in a big way. You could actually produce directly to a home audience.
Now, I don't know about you, but one of the reasons I go to the theater is exactly get out and get away and
Theaters will be there forever because people want to get out of their house. I don't care if you have a 55 or 60-inch TV set at home. You're still in your house.
Right.
There's something about getting out and going to a night at the theater with a large group of people and watching it with people. You know, if you go to see a comedy, it's a lot different in a theater than it is in your living room.
Correct.
And that's why they put laugh tracks on comedies on television, to try to give you that sense. But that doesn't really work. And the other thing is, we've noticed over the years that when you go into these theaters and they have the high back seats, you hear the people in front of you. You don't hear the people behind you, because sometimes it muffles the sound. So, you know, I like to see it with an audience. And, you know, there's nothing like seeing a horror film or a comedy with a big audience. I got in this business because a friend of mine took me to what's called the exhibitor screening. That's when the theater owners get to see a movie ahead of the audiences. And they took me to see Jaws. And I hadn't seen that many adults getting such a kick out of going to the movies in a long time. And it made a decision for me to get into the business. And I've been in it ever since. So it's a long time.
It's a long time, because Jaws was in the 70s, the early 70s.
Jaws was 75, summer 75.
Yeah. So you're saying that's your seminal moment.
That was my seminal moment to actually get into the movies. I mean, when I was a kid, I was the kind of kid that got up early in the morning, and I'd go into the den and turn on our big round television. You know, you got there early enough, you'd watch the test pattern until the TV shows came on. And our den was beside my parents' bedroom, so I learned really quickly that I could watch it as long as I didn't have the sound on. So you made your own stories up, you know?
Talk about ripe for the imagination.
Yeah.
And any advice that you would give somebody who's thinking about getting into the entertainment business, knowing what you know now? I mean, obviously it's been very good to you, but that must speak in a large part to your talent and your vision.
I think you just do it. I think, you know, the cost of video cameras and a lot of the technology has come down to such a degree that on your home computer with an iMac, you can sit down and edit really nicely with something like iMovie. You can edit the sound through GarageBand. You know, and that's for the cost of less than $1,000. And a camera today is a fraction of that for a good camera. And they just plug in and you just keep going out and keep shooting it. Use your friends. Go out there and keep working at it. And you'll get good at it. It's all practice. It's just, you know, you have to have skill. You have to have some talent. But you can develop that talent. There are people working in our business forever, and they don't have the skill.
Right.
Or they don't have the talent. You know, maybe they have the skill, but they don't get anything worthwhile on screen. And it doesn't matter whether you're shooting it at home in your backyard or you're spending millions of dollars. You've got to have the talent to be able to do that. And you've got to know who your audience is. Because if you're out there making a movie for yourself, you're making it for an audience of one. The first thing that anybody has to know is that they're making it for an audience. And you want to please that audience. Because the bigger that audience is, the easier it is for you to make something.
And that's an interesting way to put it, because a lot of people might think that then you're either dumbing down or you're pandering or you're selling out. But you're saying if you are providing something that there isn't a need for...
They don't need it.
Right. So
there's
then
too
what's
many
the
other
point?
things.
Right.
Make something that delivers to that audience, that they look at and they say, this is fun, this is worth my time. You don't have to pander to them, but know who your audience is, know what they like, and deal with it, and provide to them. Because we're all entertainers. There's no difference between what we do today and what the storytellers did in the medieval times.
Right.
They'd go town to town and tell stories. That's all we do. We tell stories and entertain an audience. And if you don't, they don't want you.
Exactly. Or it's thought-provoking.
It's real simple.
Well, Mark, thank you for your time. We appreciate the information, and enjoy the show. Huh? Take care. This is Maria Sanchez, and we're broadcasting from the Civics Arts Plaza, and the man in the pink shirt that you see in the middle of the screen there, that's Gary Marshall, and joining him tonight is also Paul Williams, and they're two men involved with the Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, as well as feature films with Pretty Woman, Beaches, and The Princess Diaries. And Williams, meanwhile, he's won 1 Oscar and been nominated 5 other times for creating a catalog of classic movie tunes. And that ranges from the Muppet-inspired Rainbow Connection to the big hit of the 70s version of A Star is Born. But they were collaborating on Happy Days, the musical, which is being relaunched here in Southern California, and they both are in attendance tonight with this VIP presentation. Now, Paul Williams is a short man, so I don't know if we can get to see him because he's dwarfed by other people around. And there he is over here, so we'll swing the camera around and we will see Paul Williams. And there you have Paul Williams, an amazing talent, and just keeps us entertained with what he did with making music and making whoopee. There we go. So Paul Williams has graced Ventura County with his presence, along with Gary Marshall, for the debut of Happy Days.
Hi there, that's Maria Circle Marketing. Nice to meet you. Thank you again for joining us. We're just so thrilled. And if you need anything, let me know.
And then we have Captain McHugh in the distance there, Captain, the commander of Naval Base Ventura County, and his wife, Terry. And she's on the other side of the table with him. And we've had quite a bit of the folks in town for this VIP pre-party.
That was my introduction. The curious really is. Please welcome the President and Chief Executive Officer.
I got it.
Rio Music Theater. You got it? There it is.
Yep.
There we go.
It's such a success. It's the only thing that's not working.
I'll save
Can we turn it up?
Test, test, test.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Please welcome the President and Chief Executive Officer of Cabrillo Music Theater and our friend, Carol W. Marshall.
Thank you, as a multi-talented artistic director who makes us all look good, especially me. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. We are privileged to be honoring the monumentally talented Gary Marshall and Paul Williams, and of course paying tribute to the spectacular cast and production team of the iconic TV series Happy Days. It's truly been happy days here at Cabrillo. Looking forward to this event and, of course, the premiere of the Ventura County show, Happy Days, a new musical. On behalf of the Cabrillo family and our entire cast and production team of Happy Days, a new musical, I want to express our sadness in the passing of Tom Bosley. It's a big loss to all of us. And I know that his dear friends and family, Gary Marshall, the Marshall family, and all those involved in the TV series of Happy Days are really feeling grieved. And though I wish it were under better circumstances, it's my honor to have Gary Marshall to share with us this evening a few thoughts about his dear friend, Tom Bosley.
Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. First of all, Paul Williams is over there. Paul Williams never really met. We didn't meet once. Scott Baio, who's on the show. Say hi to Scott. They never met. You see what a small world it is. Anyway, you'll talk later in the lobby. Also, from the Happy Days, Kathy Silver is here. Where is Kathy Silver? There she is. You know what? On the show. Wasn't the food good? Let's thank Tom Stevens. Now, what was I supposed to talk about? My friend Tom Bosley, Scott Baio and I this morning put him to rest at Forest Lawn, and it was a sad occasion, but not really sad. We're all so depressed. It was sad because he really had a wonderful life. He had a wife, a family. He was with the same agent for 40 years, an amazing thing. Only Carl Reiner has been with the same agent for 40 years. But Tom played fathers, a nice gentleman, and you never heard the serial killer would be played by Tom. He never OD'd on drugs in a movie. He never did any of that. He played the father. He played a sheriff and a nice guy. And his daughter, Amy, made a beautiful speech. Amy used to run around when we did Happy Days. She used to run around backstage, getting in everybody's way. She's now the head of movies for CBS. Quite a big job she has. And she spoke. Tom was married when he was on Fiorello. Anybody from New York remembers he was our mayor? And they say, medium applause for Fiorello. It's a Bloomberg. Yeah, you know, whatever. The mayor here, I met the mayor of this. He left already. He loves you all, but not enough to stay. He's a nice man. He kept telling this gentleman and I that he was in the Marines, which made us feel bad, because I was in the Army. What can you do? A Marine mayor. Better than he works in Bell, because that's a whole other thing. My new idol is Rizzo. How many felonies could he do, this poor man? And he's still out of jail. Anyway. Tom was like a father to all of us on the show, and Ron Howard, who was like his. Ron Howard has a wonderful father, and Tom was his father all those years. So it was a little mix-up today of both families, and at the end of Happy Days, we did something we never did, and we had at the wedding we had Tom Bosley turn to the camera, and if you remember, faced the audience and thanked the viewing audience for all they had done, and joined us, and they shared their homes with us, and they came and watched us every week. And today we all went and we thanked the family of Tom Bosley for sharing their husband and the dad and the grandchildren with us, and he was part of our family for all those years, and he was, a guy, a writer's dream. He could do a joke and make it endearing, and then he was also very funny. We met and we talked, and I told him I was from the Bronx, New York. Okay. George Shapiro and I went to PS 80. Very few people from. Oh, Ronnie went to PS. That's my sister Ronnie, not Penny. Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. My whole family's here. I met a nice couple that were married 48 years. There he is, 48 years. My wife and I are 47. We're catching up. Dave, my wife, is over here. Hello. Her name is Barbara. She's a nurse. I'm a hypochondriac. 48, 70, 20 years together. Anyway, about Tom, he always kidded around. I remember telling him I was from the Bronx, and he said, "You grew up with anybody famous?" Tony Curtis is from the Bronx. I said, I didn't know him. His name was Ernie Schwartz at the time. But he knew everybody's name, Tom. And I said, I grew up where, which is true in my neighborhood, there was Calvin Klein and Ralph Lauren. And he immediately said, Ralph Lauren's real name was Ralph Lipschitz, which was true. And then Tom said, and he had to change it because nobody would buy Polo by Lipschitz. Fascinating thing. Tom did like to kid around, and I remember on the show there's that period where Ron Howard was becoming a director, and I was giving notes, and everybody came up to me. Scott Baio came up and said, "I'd like to be a director." Donnie Most, who played Ralph, said, "I'd like to be a director." And then Anson Williams played Pops. He said, "I'd like to be a director." And then I looked at Tom Bosley, and he said, "I'd like to take a nap." I wanted to be anything. I wanted to be Mr. C. And we all will miss him, and I'm sure somewhere up there he had all his dreams come true, except one, with career and family, and everything went well for him, except one dream he had never came true. And that was he dreamt that the Chicago Cubs would be in the World Series. Many have gone without that dream being fulfilled. I went to college in Chicago. I'm a Cubs fan, but he was a great Cubs fan, and I'm sure he's up there. And so just remember, if the Cubs get to the World Series, I think Tom spoke to somebody. Thank you very much.
Gary Marshall could make us all laugh no matter what the circumstances. Thank you, Gary. I'd like to take just a moment to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart who made this evening's reception possible, and it was a lot of people. My associate producer and dear friend, Barry Pearl. As great off stage as he is on stage, and thank you for your Herculean efforts. Jerry Prendergast, Bob Spivak, and Colleen Marcus from the Grill on the Alley for the fabulous 50 food. Sue Barnhart and the Marriott for always lending and helping a hand. Go West Events, my friend David Pichette, who provided and transformed the Founders Room into Arnold's. Carissa Ramos and Valley Bakery for a truly spectacular cake. I don't know if you got to see it. And those two incredible, lovely, and now friends, Marshall family gals, Kathleen Marshall and Raleigh Hallen, who really pitched in to help us get here tonight. Those tenacity genes really run true in that family. And of course, a really huge thank you to my entire staff for putting the puzzle together. My creative and hardest working director of marketing on the planet, my daughter Meredith. It really is only 24 hours to the day.
25.
Alexis Eaton, who's just so good, I can never let her go, and she's worked on this from Hawaii, remotely. My extraordinarily talented Director of Special Projects, Mary Kimball. The gal I can never live without, my invaluable Executive Assistant, Darcy Zacharias. Of course, I'm always grateful and thankful to have my multi-talented Artistic Director, Louis Wilkenfeld. And finally, the Woman of the Year, actually of every year of my life, my inspiration, my mom. The Happy Days series ran for 11 seasons and 247 episodes. It became a nationwide phenomenon, launching 5 spin-off series and receiving 9 Emmy Award nominations. Happy Days crosses all barriers of age, gender, and background, creating a truly unifying experience for all those who came to know and love the iconic characters, Richie, Joni, Chachi, Patsy, Ralph Malph, Mr. and Mrs. C, and of course, the Fonz. Happy Days would never have happened were it not for the combined and colorful talents of many. But every great ship needs a great captain to steer it. And in the instance of Happy Days, it was the limitless creativity and boundless energies of Gary Marshall that navigated the show to become an American icon. Gary is the creator of so many beloved TV shows, including Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, and The Odd Couple. He's also the film director of Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, and most recently, Valentine's Day. Gary is the writer of this evening's glorious production of Happy Days, a new musical. It's a privilege to ask Gary to accept this award from Cabrillo in recognition of all his achievements and gratitude for what he has given to all of us.
I thought I got to speak again. I just want to make sure. What a nice thing. Hello.
Through Happy Days, a new musical, the fun and friendship of Happy Days lives on in a new generation. Much like air is to all living creatures, the birth of a musical is dependent on remarkable music. Composer Paul Williams assured the success of the show with his without equal musical genius. Paul is an Academy Award-winning composer, member of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, and is a 2-time Golden Globe winner. It's my privilege to ask Paul Williams to join me so that I may present him with this award from Cabrillo in gratitude and recognition of all he's given to us.
Thank you.
Hold on. Hold up the plaque. The plaque on the wall says the one says the wall.
It's a song from the show. You're gonna love it. George, he lets you speak.
Stand up. I am standing up. First of all, I want my Grammys back. I won 2 Grammys. I was nominated for 8. You just gave me 2 nominations. Unless you heard something I haven't heard yet. Well, it's a great honor to be here and to watch Happy Days come to life on the stage and all. In 1927, Gary and I got together. I was a huge fan of everything that Gary did, and I still am. I actually got to work on The Odd Couple. Back in 1977, I showed up and played myself on an episode of The Odd Couple. And Gary was like, you have to sweet cookie if you're going to work with Gary. Gary's got a cookie going, this is pretty good. We got to do this again sometime. And just like that, 26 years later, he called me. And to write songs for these iconic characters that we were all raised on, including me, to the extent that I was raised, is a great honor. So congratulations to everybody here on being the first regional theater in America that I can think of to do Happy Days, the musical. We hope it has a long life, and I think it will because it has the Gary Marshall touch. Thank you so much.
Now I'd like to recognize some other members of the original Happy Day series who are joining us tonight and ask them to join me here in the podium. From Charles and Charles to Buzzy Malone to the adorable and unforgettable Chachi in Happy Days, Scott Baio is an endless talent. Scott's iconic performance resounded worldwide. Thank you for showing us all what it is to be a friend.
Thanks. I didn't have anything prepared, although I do have a note for you, Gary, about your speech. You shouldn't have mentioned 2 Italian guys putting anybody to rest. But who am I to tell you how to write anything? Hey, thanks for the award. All I did was, I did a movie called Bugsy Malone that Paul Williams wrote all the music to in 1947. And that movie was shown to the executives at Paramount, which Gary was an executive at, and he brought me to Hollywood from Brooklyn, New York, and put me to work for many, many years. And I love him, and I'm happy to be here. And thank you.
Ed Charlick and Arnold Margolin, you wrote America's first introduction to Happy Days and made us fall in love at first sight. Thank you for your wonderful talents, and please come up and join us here.
Hey, why did you... Everybody had to have a reason to give you a plaque. He'll tell you work. His head work. We all work together.
I guess we're here because Happy Days began its journey on Love American style, and that's where we came into the picture. And the child outgrew the parents.
Gary has always been one of the most important figures in my life and a mentor to me, and so much I've learned from him about writing and about life itself, and I'm so happy to be here supporting.
And of course, Kathy Silvers, you kept us laughing as Joni's best friend, Jenny Piccolo. Thank you for sharing your comedic talents and your wonderful glow, and please join me here.
Well, I'm very honored to be here. Gary, this is so exciting to see the Happy Days in the new musical, and to see Scotty and Kathleen, Barbara, and everybody, and Scott. I remember when I auditioned for Jenny Piccolo, I hadn't been watching the show for so many years. I was only on the last 3 years. I was just shaking. Sitting in the casting office, and there was Gary in the back of the office, and Aaron and I were doing the meeting, and he said, "She's funny. She's really funny." I knew I must have done something right. I was so honored when you let my dad come on set and play Roscoe Piccolo, and my father, Phil Silvers, the comedian. So it was really a special moment for me to have there.
Say it again, who your father was.
Phil Silvers. Being in the Happy Days cast was definitely the greatest experience of my life. Other than being married to my beautiful husband and my 5 kids. Thank you very much.
And there were many other wonderful, well, they were all wonderful characters there, but there was one who we remember very, very vividly, who, though he's not with us tonight, has telephoned me several times to speak about him, which I will be doing a little bit on stage. And that's Henry Winkler, who, he couldn't be here this evening. He's filming in New York City. But of course, the Fonz was the ultimate king of cool. A character so inspiring and so endearing that we still stop everything we're doing and pay attention the moment he snaps his fingers. So, my invaluable assistant is holding Henry's award, and we want to thank him for being and please help me thank this buffet of talent and everything they've given us in all these happy days. So the show begins at 8 p.m. and feel free to stay here until you take your seats, and during intermission, everybody who's part of this VIP reception is invited back for some refreshments during intermission. Thank you all so very much for joining us this evening.
Maria Sanchez, we're broadcasting from the Civic Arts Plaza VIP reception for the Happy Days premiere. And I am privileged to have Paul Williams next to me. Paul, I figured, what the heck, we'll just take advantage of it.
You got it.
Paul is with us and was with the program. And you mentioned, would you repeat to our viewers the comment that you made about Gary Marshall, and then he just called you?
Oh, yeah, Gary. It was good. I worked with Gary in 1927, I like to say. Actually, 1977, I think we did an episode of The Odd Couple where I played myself, and Gary said, "You know what? It was really good. I'm going to call you back. We're going to do something else." And just like that, he called me 25 years later. It was to do Happy Days, exactly. So.
Now, if folks don't know your name, which they should because of your illustrious career.
I worked so hard. They should.
But what you have done and created and set the stage for, and the feelings, how in the world did it come easy to you? Is it something that you studied?
I wouldn't know. I was an out-of-work actor. I couldn't make a living. I had done a couple of movies. I did The Chase with Marlon Brando. I had a small part, and I worked 5 months. When the movie came out, I'm not in it. Did a movie called The Loved One with Jonathan Winters, and all of a sudden, it's 1967. I haven't had a job for a year, and just out of boredom, I started plunking a guitar and making up little tunes. And, one door is slammed, so you open another. No is a gift. Suddenly, I found myself in the middle of a songwriting career. And then the relationship with Three Dog Night and the Carpenters and Streisand and all those wonderful people that recorded my songs and gave me an opportunity to write songs for movies. And today I'm president and chairman of the board of ASCAP with 400,000 members, and trying to make sure that all the young songwriters coming up can make a living on the internet, so that people can keep writing songs for the next 40, 50 years.
So did you have no training in music?
No, I had none. I taught myself to play piano just enough to find the chords. And, I think I'm a big believer in past lives, and I think maybe in a past life I might have been a strolling minstrel or something.
Because phenomenal. I mean, talk about talent and success, and here you are. And he just shared, and so I'm not speaking out of school, that you're 70.
Yeah, I turned 70 in September. When I was a kid, this was old. I'm not old. Every now and then in the morning, I catch myself doing old things with my mouth. I mean, oh my God, stop that. Grandfather used to do that.
Oh, just a thrill and a pleasure. And what was it, a personal favor that Gary asked for you to be here tonight?
Yeah, Gary called me and he said, well, they're going to give us a plaque or something. You better get on over there. So, no, it's delightful. First of all, what's to hate? You get a chance to come eat some good food, meet some nice people, talk about yourself, and then sit down and watch something that you worked 7 years on. So,
tonight's production?
Well, tonight's production is one of many.
Right.
It just spent, almost 2 years on the road, and we think it has a long life. Chance to see Scotty Baio, who played Bugsy in Bugsy Malone, one of my musical films that led to his getting the job as Chachi on Happy Days, and led to Joni Loves Chachi, and then Charles in Charge, and the whole great career that he's had. So we're all kind of connected. This is like a family reunion.
And do you live on the west side?
I live down by Huntington Beach.
Okay, so you made quite the trip. Well, thank you for your time. Continued success. You're an inspiration to all of us.
You're very kind.
Thank you.
Enjoy Happy Days.
Yes, Paul Williams, Maria Sanchez reporting from the Civic Arts Plaza. Happy Days premiere. Maria Sanchez with Kathy Silvers. Kathy with the Happy Days cast, and a mother of 5 and a wife of 1. I'm a mother of 4, so I know what it goes into raising a family.
Yes.
But having the career that you had, and then that also, that must be quite the honor.
Yes, it's so much fun to be here to see Gary and Scotty and Kathy and the Marshall family, and it's just a wonderful honor. I can't wait to see the show.
Now, do you live in the area?
We do. We live in Los Angeles.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And what is fondest memory, maybe? I know you said prior to, which we covered, that you're Phil Silver's daughter, which is an amazing statement in and of itself, but that you had already watched the series, so you knew the prestigious arena that you were getting yourself into. And then you become a part of the cast. And what did you feel like an outsider at first, or how were you received?
Very much so. I was received beautifully. Everybody was so friendly and wonderful. But my fondest memory on the show was my father being on the show, playing Roscoe Piccolo, Jenny Piccolo's dad, and just having him come on the set and watching Lowell Ganz and Babalu Mandel and Jerry Paris and Bobby Hoffman, the casting director, literally just followed his feet. He was just such an icon himself, and they were like, look who's on the set, and I'm just like, that's my dad. They love my dad. So that was really fun.
What an amazing career. And now tell me, would you do it again if you had to do it over?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yes.
And what about your children in terms of the arts?
My daughter is a senior at UC Santa Cruz in theater arts.
Okay.
So, and she's on her way to ACT for theater.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
wow.
yes.
Following in mom and granddad's footsteps.
Yes, she is.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations, and thank you for being here with us.
Thanks
we
for having
appreciate
me.
it. You're
All right,
welcome.
thanks.
Kathy Silvers. And we will be right back.
Now, I want to go. You guys selling CDs?
Thank you. I will say as the daughter of somebody, I always appreciate
We could have those.
Can I take one quick picture?
Absolutely.
Jerry, say cheese.
We have Gary Marshall and Kathy Silvers taking a photo op. And we are continuing our coverage with the VIP pre-reception. And Paul Williams is going to come into the picture. And there you go, this photo op. Lovely. Kathy Silvers, Gary Marshall, and Paul Williams. 1, 2, 3, go. And nobody's aged. Yes. Mr. Marshall, thank you for visiting with us. We're KADYTV.com, the Ventura County television station, of which Thousand Oaks is.
I love to be in Thousand Oaks at Vitello's Restaurant, my favorite restaurant out here.
Is that right?
It just opened.
Did it?
On Thousand Oaks Street.
Boulevard?
Yes.
Yeah. So what brought you here tonight? Are you personally acquainted with Carol, or it's your investment in?
Well, we are now.
Okay, so
No.
that's news.
No.
It's the launch of Happy Days here in Sutton. Well, you have been in Southern California with Happy Days.
We toured all over the country in Canada, and eventually we sold it to Samuel French, who now books it all over the country. The producers, which they didn't mention enough, is my sister Ronnie and my daughter Kathy. They put it all together. They were the producers of the original musical, and they toured it, and then they got it all over the different high schools, etc. We have 3 versions. This is the 2-hour version tonight. We have a 90-minute version we do in high schools, and we have a 50-minute version we do on cruise ships.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
We do all sorts of, not me, my
Right.
sister and my daughter tell us what to do.
Yes.
So we're very proud that they did so well. And then we have a gentleman that is associated with this beautiful place, 1,800 seats. Wow, that's pretty good. Named Barry Pearl, who is one of the associate producers, and Barry played the part of Arnold in the Happy Days original touring company.
Oh, my.
And so he knows people here, and he knows Carol, and he ended up with a wonderful director, and they made their version of the book they bought from us, so we're very excited to see it.
Now, what keeps you going in terms of your enthusiasm and your passion?
Well, nice young people. Scott, I don't want to shock Thousand Oaks, but my real name is Masciarelli, not Marshall. But my father changed it to Marshall. So Scott Baio and I are both Italian guys who put a guy to rest. That's what he was referring to. It is Italian people shouldn't put people to rest. But I really thought that meeting new people. I met Carol tonight, quite peppy.
Yes.
So you meet all these nice people. I met the daughter. I met her mother, Bee,
Yes.
a nice lady.
Yes.
And I think just meet new people is just a part of life. It's pleasure to come here and see other people enjoying what I originally wrote in 1969. So to see everybody coming to see the musical version and everything is great.
It is wonderful.
It was a sad date today because we did bury Tom Bosley this morning. I spoke at his funeral, and he would have loved to have this many people seeing the show and laughing, because he loved the musical too.
And we might remind our viewers that you started your day doing that, so you've had quite the day today. You've been all over.
But there is an intermission where I take a little nap, and I come right back. I have a good time. My wife
You're
is
a real
big.
trooper.
Is it cake or ice cream? I need ice cream.
You need ice cream.
I need a drink of water.
A drink of water. Gary Marshall,
Thank
you
you.
so much for your time.
So nice, your pretty pearls you got on
Well,
there.
why,
Look.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, I got to know, the reason I came over to talk to you is you're delightful and professional, but my favorite color and lucky color is purple.
Is that right?
It really is.
Oh,
and there it is.
there
I said,
it
I
is.
better go near her.
Okay, I
All
like it. And real men wear pink.
Yes.
So you're proving that again.
I want to be festive.
Yes, you are. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We're here at the VIP reception prior to Happy Days, the debut here in Thousand Oaks, California, and we have Scott Baio with us. Scott, welcome.
Lucky you.
Very
Glad
lucky
to be
us.
here.
Scott, what brought you here? Personal favors, sentiment, nostalgia?
All of the above. Gary asked me to come out, and I was absolutely. I do anything for Gary, and I don't. I'm not a big theater-going guy, but I thought this would. Yeah, I'm just not. It's just not. I've never been, but this would be a kick in the head, I think. So it'd be fun.
And talk about your career now in terms of aspirations and what more you'd like to do since you've done all of it already.
I don't know what I want to do. I just really want to be a good dad. That's all I really want to be at this point. I mean, if I work again, I work. If I don't, I don't. And I'm not going to sweat whether I sort of actors have that drive. I got to work. I got to work. I got to work. I got to work.
But that means that you're at peace and that
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I walk around the house going, Jesus, I gotta get out of here. My wife talking to me, I gotta get out of here.
And what's your family like? Your family that you have with your wife. You have how many kids?
I have a little daughter who's 3 years old.
Oh.
What are they like? They're good people. We try to go to movies and hang out and watch television and stuff. And it's not it's a tough job being a dad. It's a lot of it's tough. It's wonderful, but it's a lot of things you got to teach your kids certain things. And are you absorbing this? Are you getting what I'm telling you? Are you getting it? And she's wants to go run around and break something. So, but it's great.
It is. It does. Well, thank you for your time, Scott.
Oh, you're
Congratulations, welcome. And thank you for visiting us in Thousand Oaks, California.
It's a pleasure. I got friends here, and I'll be in Calabasas living out there soon. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So you'll be in our neck of the woods.
I'll be around here.
All right. Scott Baio, Maria Sanchez.